Hello and welcome to Good Boys Gone Bland. Mystery Season. Heat is the movie. I'm your co-host, Denali. That would, dude. I can't.
You want to redo it?
I'll redo it. Hello and welcome to Good Boys Gone Bland. I'm your Heat, Denali.
I'm in heat, Ryan.
I'm in heat.
I'm your mystery.
I'm your mystery man, and I'm in heat. And this is Ryan. Hello and welcome to Good Boys Gone Bland. Mystery Season. Heat. I'm your co-host, and it's Denali. Next on the roster.
I'm your co-host, and I'm Ryan.
That's a podcast. No, I don't think I have it else.
What the fuck was that?
You know.
You didn't even say your name.
You just moved your hands like Al Pacino.
Like a vase. You're outlining like a vase.
And I'm Jace Pacino.
All right, listen up. This is going to be a three-man job. We get in and we get out. All right? We're going to record a podcast. We're not going to mess around for the first 30 minutes. All right? They hate that. We're going to get right to the movie. We're going to review the movie, and we're going to get out. All right? Nothing at the end. No bullshit. No lollygagging, doing stuff that's going to get us caught. All right? Anyone have any questions? Ryan down in front. Sorry, no names. Give us your code name, and then
Franklin.
Franklin.
The turtle.
That's cool. That's not cool, actually. No, that's a child's book.
What floor is the bank on?
Yeah, it's a bank, so it's just a building. You go in, so it's like a one-story.
G? Do I have to hit G? Is this a G situation?
Yeah, no elevators.
My apartment building. If you press 1, it's actually like the first floor above you.
Yeah,
okay. The architect was British or something.
Well, folks, we watched Heat this week. Award-winning Heat. Jace, give us the reasoning of you picking this movie. In case they didn't listen to the last episode, which was Persona question. Oh no, it's Blade.
No,
Jace, why'd you pick this movie?
This movie is on the Letterboxd top 250 list, and if you didn't cut it, I did a really convoluted method of selecting a decade within the 16 to 17 years of movies that are on the Letterboxd top 250 list. We somehow got down to 1995, and Heat was, I think, like 120, top 120 movies. So we hadn't seen it. And I might be taking that back. I think I've seen bits of this movie on the TV.
Yeah.
You might. I mean, the intro, especially the intro and the shootout, are like kind of pop culture references that a lot of people do. They'll just talk about it quite often.
Dude, this is FX core right here. This movie, it's a movie that would be on FX.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been on my list for a long time. All right, Jace, and you gave me a reason to finally watch it. It's made by definitely a real guy named Michael Mann.
He's a real guy.
Yeah.
He doesn't look what you expect the director of this movie to look like.
Does he have like 6 heads? I'm looking him up. He's an old guy.
Yeah, he's kind of like...
Was he old when he did
probably,
this one?
if he looks like this.
I mean, 1943, so he was in his 50s.
He's a year younger than Robert De Niro. Can you imagine that? Yeah, De Niro was 50 when he did this, essentially. It's crazy.
He doesn't look very cool.
No.
Michael Mann, the guy with the most blasé name, doesn't...
Yeah, his Michael Mann.
But like to direct this movie, too, you're thinking of like this like...
No, I
cool,
know what you mean,
suave guy who's like an informant, maybe, and he writes this script based on all these crimes he learned about, and it's just like, eh.
Yeah, I was expecting like a guy with like a mullet with a white blazer.
You were kind of imagining Wangro.
Or even Colin Farrell, like Colin Farrell's character in Miami Vice.
Yeah, I was expecting that. So Jace, I mean, you wanted to watch Heat. I was surprised, coming from the guy who does not like 3-hour movies. You selected.
I didn't fucking know this movie was 3 hours long. I picked a movie off of a list that none of us have seen before. And then you two come in telling me, oh, man. Well, first of all, we're watching this for free.
How is this our problem on the day of the watching?
And then you're like, oh, my God, now this movie's 24 hours long. And I'm like, no. Please, no.
It was free on Pluto TV, which I was very pleased to find.
Yeah,
I downloaded the app.
Because I'm not. If it's for free, I'm not gonna buy it.
Yeah, no fucking way. But you click on it, and I said, I'm going to post it on our Instagram. There's 17 ad breaks in a 3-hour movie, okay? Each ad break is like a full ad break. There's 5 ads each. And I figured out it was 85 ads in total that you will have to watch when you watch this movie on Pluto TV. That is fucked. It is like a 5-hour watch time.
My friend Max came over today, and this is like one of his favorite movies.
Oh.
And he was very angry that we watched it with ads.
Dude, and whoever put the ads in was like a guy who is not like paying attention to when to put in ads. It'll be like,
oh
no!
my God.
Oh, Johnson, my best friend got shot. And it'll be like, BK, have it your way. And it's like, it's the longest bullshit.
I've noticed
and then it'll snap right back in the scene.
I think that there is some level of ad breakage, and like I've noticed on YouTube that I think ads are being like strategically placed at locations where I would say it has to do with like the sound normally, but you know, it is always one of those moments that's like really high, like you get invested and then like, oh shit.
Because they don't want you to click away. They don't want you to hit that back arrow when you're watching on your your TV remote. They don't want you to do that while the ad is playing, so they have to do it in actual I want to see how this turned out, like a moment of confusion or something. And I think they're doing the same thing here. They must have just, I don't know.
I mean, I think it used to be like when they put an ad in, they were like, okay, we're gonna time it well so it's not interrupting, that way you don't get mad when you see Nestle on the thing. But now it's like, okay, since everything's a subscription service now, we're going to put it in the worst fucking time. We're going to like calculate the worst goddamn time to put in an ad. That way you were inclined to buy the full version so that you don't do it. It's insane. Like I made it like halfway through until I literally spent $4 to rent this thing. Like it
really?
takes a lot. I tapped out. I tapped out with a
smart.
10th BK commercial that I got.
Because I started at 8 p.m. and I had to bow out at 10:30 because we were an hour and 20 minutes into it.
Oh my God.
And then I was getting like, Julia fell asleep during the coffee scene, which is like a really important scene. But we were expected to be like done with the movie by this point. And so I woke up this morning and watched about another hour. And then she woke up and came out of the front room. And I had kind of explained, unfortunately, it was like the interesting hour. And then I kind of explained what happened. And then we watched like the last bit together. But it was not like, it wasn't a good experience overall. And I regret, it's the one time in my life I've ever like regretted watching a free movie.
I have to ask too, because you are a part of your like interest in watching movies. I just know from talking to you that you'll like pause and you'll rewatch. Were you doing that with this, knowing that there were ads, or were you like going raw and it was still?
You can't afford to rewatch.
So Jace, that's a really good catch, because we did pause once to talk about what just happened because of like, I think we were confused about something, but we were like, the economy of this is that like, I'll Google it the next ad break.
Yeah.
Ooh, smart.
And so that's what I ended up doing at one point. And so I was like, we have to go. Like the unfortunate additional thing is I ended up watching probably a total of like 6 minutes of this movie on mute because I wouldn't realize I'm back from the commercials because the timer wasn't accurate.
Yeah, there's no timer on mine either, dude. You can't tell when it's going to end.
There was just a circle for me, and it would fill up, and then another ad would play, and then it would be done.
Do you guys? So do you guys watch the ads? You guys still watch it when it's muted? Do you like look at the screen?
I pick my phone up, or I go do something, or
I close my eyes. I actually close my eyes. Like there was like a meme I read like 2 or 3 years ago where someone was like, when an ad comes on, I just like I look at like how much time's left, and I close my eyes, and I just count down the number in my head and just like meditate for like 60 seconds. And I've been doing that. I literally, it's my own fucking time. In this day and age, it's hard to get any quiet time where you're mindful. So I just close my eyes for the full duration, and I just do that every time. And in this movie, they didn't have a timer, so I was just it was bad. It's a bad experience. But I don't watch anything. So advertisers out there, you're wasting your money. I get pleasure out of you wasting your money for me. I did spend $4 to avoid the ads.
You fell for it.
But I mean, geez, dude, like the cast in this movie.
Let's talk about the movie and let Jace introduce it, and then he'll go through the cast.
Yeah, Jace, what is Heat?
Okay, Heat is a heist movie. It is about a crew of professional heisters, I would say. Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer, Tom Sizemore, and Danny Trejo, which is kind of fucked. If you look at the cast list, I think it's fucked. I don't know why Tom Sizemore is so far ahead of Danny Trejo.
He's been in a lot of the movies.
It was like Danny's like first role.
Oh, really?
And Tom at this point had done a lot of movies. Like he's like a known character actor in the 90s.
Oh yeah, billing done based on money, not time and film.
It's usually a part of the like contract.
It's like it's like negotiated and shit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, as it stands, they kick off the movie doing a heist to steal some bonds. We're getting ingrained into this Los Angeles heist culture, which sets up this LAPD kind of detective violent crimes unit lead, Al Pacino, who's playing Vincent Hanna. And the movie is kind of just the unfurling of their kind of clash, so to speak. It's kind of this movie about the decisions that you make and the consequences of those actions, and like whether or not, you knew you were going to kind of see those consequences. A lot of action, a lot of boisterousness. Pretty much, I think everybody is a bad guy. It's kind of cool, is how I felt all the characters were portrayed. They're all bad guys. And, one job.
Dude, dadcore. Fucking dadcore.
It's dadcore, but it's like really, to me, it's like subverted dadcore. Like,
oh, you think?
I think it's too good.
Yeah,
dude, I think dads are gonna like this shit. Are you kidding me?
I think they would love it.
But whether or not dads like it doesn't make it dadcore.
Ooh, okay. This is an approachable dadcore movie, I think. Okay. Because because when there are dadcore movies that are really dadcore, sometimes they turn me off. They're like really boring. Like when Sergeant O'Hara is God's gift to Earth in saving this county. I hate that. That's a
really good O'Hara.
I hate that.
But Gangster Squad. Why is that your like? Really
because I fucking hate that guy. I don't know.
What was that? Was that Nolte? Oh, Nick Nolte? You can do a good Nick Nolte.
That was like a Nick Nolte. Yeah.
God damn. Wait, what were you saying? Right? You don't. Okay, so we debated this before. Like, you don't think certain movies are dadcore if they don't fit like a criteria.
Yes. Just because dads like it doesn't make it dadcore, because then all the acclaimed, like theoretically, the more people are going to like better movies, and then every good movie would be dadcore because dads like it. Like, it has to be specifically like targeted at a certain type of person for it to be dadcore. Like, remember in Sahara how the bad guy was a wimpy little tiny like tech bro.
Yeah.
And Matthew McConaughey climbed up his tower and punched him in the face. Like, that's a dadcore movie.
That's a good movie.
With pirate ships lost in the desert, and they're jumping flying
like
planes that rebuild themselves. Like, that's like the masculine ideal. Here, it's like...
I'll rewatch it.
In fact, a lot of the movie is poking imperfections in these men, not like glorifying their antiquated views of the world.
I do think that could fly over the head of a lot of dads. And they like the shooting, mutual respect, holding hands out of respect in the gunshot.
I think they put that scene at the very end specifically because they knew dads would walk out of the movie if they saw that.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah, I mean, look, I personally think dads are going to love this shit. It's like a mano-y-mano movie. Like, this was billed as like the whole Al Pacino versus Robert De Niro. This is post Godfather 2. They're like, oh, it's time. These dudes are going to fucking face down, and it's going to be these two guys, two sides of the same coin, blowing up each other's lives and shit, right?
Could you imagine having that as the hype for you going into the theater?
Yeah, two
actors. And then you watching this? And you being like, this is the greatest moment of my life. This is the greatest thing. This is the greatest movie ever. Like it's one of those things where I could see someone who's like a movie fan. This could be like their Star Wars moment for a lot of people.
Or like Avengers, like where it's like we were waiting to see like superheroes together, right?
For
like,
years and years. Yeah. Like it could be, for somebody who's like a cinephile, it could totally be their like moment.
Yeah, but it's like our dopamine receptors are so blown out from seeing crossovers that like I can't even think of an equivalent right now. Where it would have to be Gosling, in my opinion, someone A-lister.
Ewan McGregor,
right? Gosling and Ewan McGregor. I think
it's probably like a Tom Cruise type A-lister. Like, they're the Tom Cruises of that generation.
Fucking Henry Rollins is in this movie randomly.
Dude, what the hell?
From Black Flag.
And he doesn't even say a line.
Dude, yeah, JC's the guy with the dimpled chin. He looks like
the bodyguard for William Fichtner.
Oh, yeah.
Finance guy.
He looks like a thumb, dude. And like, if you look up,
what?
like, he's from Black
He's a
Flag.
musician.
It's one of the biggest punk bands ever. Like, if you look at the symbol, it's the most tattooed band fucking ever besides, like, the Misfits. Like, if you walk around Seattle for, like, 10 minutes, you'll see, like, 5 baristas with a Black Flag tattoo. Like, you'll see it everywhere. Danny Trejo's in this. I go to his donut shop. He's like a donut shop in Hollywood. It's really good. It's got really good, like, vegan donuts. And he has a good taco place, too. Danny Trejo's a good restaurateur.
This movie, the cast, I mean, it's kind of like Love Actually for men.
Oh, explain.
You know how Love Actually is known for being like the huge ensemble cast.
Oh,
There's like
I see.
Love
Okay,
Actually
yeah.
and like Valentine's Day.
I thought you were thinking like intertwining story with like different connections and stuff. I like movies like that.
Well, I don't know because I blanked out a lot of my mind when I was watching Love Actually because I was forced under compulsion to watch it.
Yeah.
Much like this movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Because like it seems like some actors will pop up and you'll be like, oh, that guy. They needed another guy. And they were like, how can we get more seats or more butts in seats? And then there's like every time they add like another pretty well-known person to this, it's usually a man. They're like, okay, if we get like this guy, then like 40,000 more people will go see it. And then there's like still some holdouts. And they require like another pretty well-known guy. And then
what if we got the guy
going.
who does the Simpsons voices?
Yeah.
What if we got
that guy who does the Allstate commercials? We gotta do that. You know who we really need?
Yeah.
Freaking Bubba from Forrest Gump. He needs to be like one of the cops.
When you said the Allstate guy was in this, I was like, no, he's not. I like he came up in the screen and I was like, no fucking way, that is the Allstate guy. Dennis Haysbert. Like this movie starts to like start us off to like it starts with a heist. And Ryan, you said you like heist movies. Like you're a big fan of heist movies. I like seeing too like a good like well executed kind of like tightly wound heist thing where they're like putting on hockey masks and shit, and they got like 10 different trucks. And I feel like this would have been really hype for me as like a little kid. Like seeing a bunch of dudes with cool masks in like 20 different types of trucks. It was like they were like in an ambulance, like a giant pickup truck. It was pretty cool. And then it's pretty fast. It's like the opening of The Dark Knight. They're like slamming the trucks into stuff, blowing up things. It's a pretty tight heist scene.
For a 2-hour and 50-minute long movie, the whole thing is extremely tight. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but like this movie was freaking incredible. And the back half is all things that it's a scene where you know everybody's background, you know everybody's motivation, you know how they got there, you know what that character's like when they're happy, you know what that character's like when they're sad, you know what they're like when they're mad, and you know why they're doing their job and what they're going to do with the money. And it didn't do like a montage like Ocean's 11 and say, this is Frank. He throws plates at zoo animals when he gets upset. Yeah, it like there's natural scenes where like the Allstate guy is on like probably parole and he gets a job at a kitchen and his boss is like totally taking advantage of him, saying, yeah, you're going to do this, 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 and this, and I get 25% of your pay. Mm-hmm. And dude, that you do one wrong thing, I'm going to violate your ass.
Put that guy in the fryer.
Yeah.
So then throughout the rest of the movie, we see him a couple times, and then De Niro goes to him with a job and say, it's right now, like yes or no. And he ends up saying, he takes a long time. He takes like 45 seconds to decide about that. And there's no words, just the camera on him. And he's like the 16th most important character in this movie. And they didn't cut any of that in a movie that was like really long. And I'm glad they didn't. Like,
me too.
Like him taking that long adds so much to the character. And it also adds to Robert De Niro's character. Robert De Niro needs to know the answer right now. But he doesn't rush the guy. He just like steps back and lets him think. And that's like an amazing scene. And I don't know. This movie was really strange, especially because it was broken up into 17 mini parts, like a little mini series.
Yeah. Dude, Allstate guy's like fucking arc was so sad.
Really
tragic.
tragic.
Like you're really rooting for him because he's like trying to pull his life together and like shit's just not working out. And he does this heist and you're like, please just like let him fucking win.
Oh my God. I was like, if anybody survives this heist, please let it be Allstate guy.
Yeah. And then he gets killed, dude. He gets shot. Like, he was one of the first guys to get killed, and it's just like
when I saw the blood on the windshield, I was like, no, that's an Allstate guy's spot.
I know, dude, and like it just shows his girlfriend's face when he dies, and it's just like that's it, and that's his arc's over, dude, and like shit like that, like you said, Ryan, like grounds the stakes too. Like you're like people are dying because of this shit, and it feels fucking real.
I have to. It's a very serious thing, and it's very. I love that, and again, it's like the discussion of actions and consequences. Like 30 seconds after that scene, the fourth guy, whatever his name, Tom, is running away from the police officers and picks up a child. And Al Pacino, who's missed like
just
60 shots, is like, I don't give a shit if he's got a hostage. I'm taking this one,
dude. And I'm like, okay, we talked. Yeah.
The gun scenes were done so well, and I think that was the one miss, for lack of a better word, in the whole movie.
It wasn't a miss. He hit it.
It wasn't a miss.
Target.
I have beyond. I think it's funny from like I think the whole thing is somewhat comedic from like a casualties kind of impact standpoint, because I think if you were like not an idiot, you would be like, let him drive away to a less populated area and then we'll arrest them. But it kind of just sets the stakes that Al Pacino is playing this character as somebody who's like a force. He's like gravity. He is a force, and he's gonna make his decision even if it's a bad one. And he's like, I'm gonna shoot the guy.
It's like, he's obsessed, right? And we touched on this like a little bit on Place Beyond the Pines, but it's like the stakes, risk reward shit, where it's like, okay, they're robbing fucking Bank of America, right? And they're like, okay, it's all FDIC insured. No one's getting hurt. The bank's getting fucked. Who the fuck cares? We're getting out of here. And Al Pacino's like, oh, gotta save Bank of America. And he's like shooting through like by a kid's head to kill these guys who are robbing a bank. And I'm like, what the fuck are you? And then like hundreds of people are being shot and things are exploding, and I'm just like who the fuck cares? Like, why are we doing this? Like, Jesus Christ. But of course, that's his character, right? Like, he's a man possessed. Like, he cannot take a step back. He's like, I gotta
even
fucking
when his
get him.
daughter, like her stepdaughter, like commits suicide in his hotel bathtub. Yeah. He brings her ass to the hospital and then it's like, hey, I'll stay here if you want.
Right.
And she's like, oh, you can go. And he's like, okay, see ya. And so it's like, like hucking himself down the stairs. Oh my God.
Yeah. She lives, by the way, which that was like hard to watch, like that scene.
Yeah. That elicited a gasp out of both of us.
Yeah, that was really hard. Natalie Portman too, like holy shit, like
really that was also another gasp
career.
when she showed up.
Yeah, holy fuck. But to like jump at the beginning scene, the beginning heist, right? Because this all fucking unfolds from like one mistake, right? Because they get this Waingro guy who like fucks up the whole operation, and he, like one of them calls him Slick, and that creates like a whole chain of coincidences that like makes them find them.
I don't
think
agree. I would disagree with that point, but yes.
Really? Okay. We can get to that. But like they blow the top off this truck, right? And they get bonds. Like what do you do? I don't understand. What do you do with bonds?
They were after something in particular.
Yeah.
Like they
like
knew
paper,
it was
like,
there.
Yeah.
They were after the bonds of the guy who was money laundering, because the bond operation was 100% insured through the guy who sold the job to Robert De Niro. So the bonds being stolen and like counterfeited or whatever wouldn't affect the money launderer.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, so everyone would get out rich, and but it's like, and then it all falls apart because they kill the three dudes there, right? Because Waingro like blows his top because he's like, "You fucking looking at me," and he just like shoots him, and like that, I think that like fucks up the whole movie because that's where you see like the death spiral of De Niro's like perfect plan.
Well, and it gets like put in a different division. You know, when you have someone just like committing these crimes, and then they have these people like executing groups of armed guards.
Yeah.
It gets, depending on what type of crime you're committing, it gets assigned to a different division. And at different points, Pacino talks about the different bureaus and how they're handling things. And he talks about like, go ask this bureau if they have anything like this. Go ask this bureau if they have anything that fits this pattern. Because he's now trying to look at other people that De Niro might be recruiting.
So, so what I was gonna say is that maybe my comment is misplaced. It gets messed up because of the murders, because of the unhinged new member, but the spiraled downward. The information came from a completely different source, because the character Albert Terena, who is played by Ricky Harris in that club, knows Slick, who is the original crew member.
Right.
Tom Sizemore.
So it took me. I was saying that because I had to Google it, because I thought the information came from the guy that they brought into their crew and messed up, but it was like an extraneous thing where he's like, oh, I know this guy that runs jobs, and the dots are obviously connectable. They got connected, but I thought
that's such a coincidence, dude.
Jace, I Googled the same exact thing, because on IMDb, the blurb is a group of bank robbers accidentally get under the eye of the police or something like that when they let slip a vocal word or something like that. Vocal clue during their latest hit. And I was like, did I miss something?
Yeah.
Like, I saw that after I was like halfway through the movie, and turns out I followed everything fine. And I Googled what was the clue that they left at the first thing. And the explanation was that's what it was. The guy at the club just knew someone named Slick who does drops like this.
But it's like he just said the word Slick, though. Like,
he said it too many times. He said it like 2 or 3 times, and then Pacino was like, "Why'd you say that?"
Yeah, and it was just such a, like, I mean, I'm fine with it because shit like that can happen sometimes. But I was just like, that's a lot of coincidences to catch this to be the thread, and then the rest of it just unravels. And they beat the shit out of the guy in a diner, and they run off. Okay, but like. Sorry, I don't want to spend too
most shit beatable out of character I've seen in a movie in months.
Yeah, the guy is Waingro. He looks like a asshole, and apparently he did time after this movie, and apparently that was his nickname, Waingro, when he was in prison. I looked up what he did time for. It was for growing marijuana plants to help his family members with cancer.
That bastard!
Like,
what a sick fuck!
I was just like, oh man, that's fucked, dude. But what was it like? De Niro meets this. It's part of the plot, right? Where he meets this woman named Edie, and like, dude, I don't know about you guys, but like the chemistry was just not fucking there for me, man. Like that shit was the like blandest ass, like boring fucking chemistry. They were just.
I was bothered by the age gap.
Yes, it was like 30.
Because she was in her mid-30s and he was in his mid-50s, and so for them to have a meet cute didn't come off as authentic to me. Secondly, I don't think I've ever seen Robert De Niro kiss someone. And I don't really ever want to see it again. He shouldn't be in movies where he's doing any kissing. Robert De Niro is not a kissing actor. He's a shooting people, talking mean to people actor. He should not be allowed to kiss other human women.
I'm trying to think about him kissing, right? Because it's like, did he do something weird with his mouth?
It was so like, he was just like, you see him look at her and you're like, what is he doing? It's like, it was almost like Alien, like, you know, like, or like a lizard. Yeah. You know when a lizard, like a bug lands on a stick nearby and they kind of like turn their heads and they look directly straight and they kind of just like freeze? That's exactly what he did with her mouth. He leaned in front of her and was like,
Al Pacino was directing him in that scene, and he was like, "Yeah, Robert, you're killing it."
He's like, "So, Rob, this is what you do, Rob. You like, you take your mouth and you kind of like, it's almost like you're pinching, but you don't have to put your fingers there. And you go like this. See, you don't, you don't stick your tongue out past your lips. That's for later."
I'm trying to think too, because like that scene where they kiss, they're asking each other. It was like the most boring conversation I've ever heard. It was just like,
"Where's your family from?
Yeah, do you like work? Do you like stuff? Do you live here?
Do you eat food?"
Like, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, there was no fucking connection. And
it was green screened. It was the only shot in the entire freaking movie that was green screened.
Yeah.
And they had it interlaced with a shot that wasn't green screened.
Yeah.
But they wanted the exposure right, so they shot it's the stupidest use of green screen I've ever seen. Because they shot the actual background that they wanted, where they actually were. And then they shot the actors separately so they could expose them differently. And they just rotoscoped them over the background.
I don't know. I heard Michael Mann's kind of a freak. Like, he'll just do weird shit like that because he has like a perfectionist thing, right? That drives like his actors nuts. And like, right after they have like the weird sex scene, he like romantically leaves her a glass of water wrapped in a napkin, and they just like linger on the glass of water, and they go back to his face, and he's like looking at the glass of water, and they look at the glass of water again. I'm like, what the fuck's happening here? What am I supposed to like? What's going on? And it's like, it's like 40 seconds.
And this movie was 3 hours long.
And I'm like, what was this for?
You're like that glass of water's really important.
Yeah. But I'm like, what are you trying to tell me, Michael?
But that's kind of a Robert De Niro thing. Doesn't it zoom in on his Alka-Seltzer tab and Taxi Driver, and that's like him deciding to go on a killing spree?
Oh, so that you think this was a callback? Like, hey, you remember the
Remember
glass
that
of
movie you
water
made 20 years ago?
in Taxi Driver?
The about their relationship and something in this movie, I think I prefer heist films from like this era and before, just because we're so inundated with technology that like
there was never like a cool scene where a guy had like an awesome pistol and he was boom, 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 pulled out an app and like controlled a remote control car and it like came by and then the drone flew over. There was none of that.
So what I was going to say is it's just wild that you would go meet a person at a diner and then go home with them and not tell anybody that you know where you were.
Insane,
and
dude,
just, I have to imagine the 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s are just a wild fucking time because, nowadays it's kind of like, hey, my friend's coming to the bar with me when I come meet you. And that's just how it's going to be.
Robert De Niro would be on his couch at home. Well, looking at meet20s.com app, like just looking through, and then he would text her, do you like your job? And then she'd
like, no, you freak.
We also talked about the landline culture in this movie.
Crazy.
And how even now, movies set in the 90s don't make such an emphasis on landlines. Because everybody was calling everybody on landlines from back in the day. Watch Seinfeld. There's like 3 landline related bits in every episode. And in this movie, everybody's trying to get to a phone. Or they're like, they call him from a payphone and they're like, no, the phone you're on, it's not good enough. You got to get to a landline.
I like that, dude. I like that.
Yeah, I'm on board. But this movie got it right because that's how it was. So why do other movies from nowadays who are trying to get like a 90s feel, why do they just do like kids riding bikes in parks and not like...
Let me call you on a landline, Jeff.
Yeah, this sort of like, I'm isolated.
Right.
Until I get to one of these landlines, kind of like in the Matrix, until I get to a landline, and then I can talk to you. I feel like there's something analog about this movie that the digital revolution is completely forgotten about. And it was a certain je ne sais quoi, which I don't know what that means. But it was this thing where like I don't really understand what's going on, but I like it.
Yeah, it's like tactile. I kind of get that vibe.
Yeah.
Right?
It's there.
You feel like,
Yeah. It's very like, it's physically present.
I also didn't, the thought of a landline ringing, I didn't really know that was like a thing too. And like we kind of grew up sort of around landlines, like they existed when we were like kids. And like I used to think, but like a payphone. I'm sorry, like a payphone ringing, like like when they're at the payphone all the time. And like I thought a payphone ringing was like a scary thing you see in horror movies, right? Because like they walk by the payphone and it rings, and they're like, "What the fuck? Why is it ringing?"
It's a plot of a Colin Farrell movie. Yeah.
Are you there?
No. Like I thought that was I like that too. And it is like a thrill, dude. Like if you were like a time traveler to experience that feeling again, because I don't think we'll get this feeling again unless it's an apocalypse.
One time I called my dad's work number from my M&M phone, and he got mad when I was just calling him to fuck around on the M&M phone. He thought it was like an emergency.
Aww.
Yeah, dude, it was a certain thrill too back then, where it's like you don't have if you're not near a payphone, it's like anything could happen to you. You get sucked up by aliens. You see like the most weirdest shit. Like you can't take a photo. You can't tell anyone. It's just like you have to get to a landline. I
miss it. We need like a big electromagnetic pulse. Like a solar flare directed exactly at Earth.
And that'll have no consequences. Like it'll just be good. Like
the payphones still work, but there are only 2 of them.
We got to use cups and string. Guys, we got to talk about Val Kilmer's elbow. I texted you guys about this.
Mm-hmm.
Amber pointed it out because I didn't notice it at first. She was like bothering me about the elbow thing, and I was like, "What?" Like I'm trying to watch the scene, and she was just like, "What the fuck's going on with his elbow?" I thought she was like seeing something weird, and I like rewinded it, and I was like, "Oh my!" Like it was like a plum on that thing.
That thing that's an adult weenus.
Yeah, like dude. He did okay. Apparently, it was an injury he got. Obviously, he wasn't born with this thing. Otherwise, we wouldn't be making fun of it. We shouldn't make fun of injuries either. He
got it after birth, therefore it's okay.
No, okay, we should not make fun of it. Basically, like he was in the movie The Doors, right? He played Jim Morrison in The Doors. He apparently he did like a stage dive for the movie, I guess, and the extras or whatever didn't like catch him properly, and he actually took a pretty big tumble and fucked up his elbow for like a long time. And he had like that thing on his elbow for like a while. It was like an abnormal growth.
Shit. Hey, Denali, remember that time Jake caught your weenus, or was it me in the car door?
Yes, I do remember. I forgot what episode we mentioned that too. Yes, you caught my elbow skin in the door, and it was scary, dude. Like it was scary being caught by that part of your body, like
in that part of the door. It's the most I've never seen anything else caught in that part of the door, and it was your weenus.
It was weird.
Of all things.
But the thing is I was completely immobilized. Like it got enough meat.
It's actually like a really effective way to shade someone.
Yeah, like shut their weenus in the door, and it did no damage. It was not even painful either.
There's no pain receptors there.
Like squeeze your weenus skin on your elbow, and there's no pain, and it shut enough of the meat that I could not pull it out without ripping a significant portion of my flesh off. So I was completely fucking.
Why does that hurt?
I don't know. I think there's no nerves.
I'm doing it right now. It's like I might as well be pinching somebody else's wiener.
There's a dull. If you get some nail in it, there's like a dull pain. But
okay, I think evolutionarily, one of our ancestors had a numb weenus, and that helped them survive somehow. I think it's elbow hits. They're an MMA fighter. Yeah. And I don't think I couldn't like reach the door either. I think like the angle I was at, I couldn't like open the door again to get myself out.
It was your right elbow, and you were getting out of the passenger seat, and the rear door closed, and the hinge came forward because the hinge wasn't exactly at the end of the door.
It was so stupid.
And it closed that gap.
Anyways, folks, I'm not saying to do this, but if you needed to, there's a scene. Sorry, I don't want to like.
You should move forward.
Yeah, we should. There's like a scene where like kind of after the job kind of goes bad, right? Like they're handing Robert De Niro the money, and there's like kind of a cool scene with Val Kilmer with like the sniper rifle where he's like spotting the handoff, and he's like, "Oh, he's right behind you," and then like it leads to like a big shootout in a drive-in movie theater. And there's like a scene where I just couldn't get over it, where like Robert De Niro is like driving his car to run over the guy that's trying to kill him, but he's going over like the bumps that are in like a drive-in, but then he's also trying to shoot a pistol. But he's like trying to aim, and the car is going up and down like a lot, and he's like shooting the pistol through the fucking thing, and it's slowing down the car. Like he's going probably like 5 miles an hour at this point, and the guy is like kind of like Austin Powers, like he's just standing there where he's like it just like it was ridiculous.
Well, he's standing there like that because his legs are broken and his arms all shredded to shit.
Was his legs broken?
Yeah. He just got hit by the car.
Got hit with the car.
All right. Robert De Niro's coming back to finish him off.
All due respect to that man, then. I understand.
I was actually saying that was kind of badass.
Because he did try to shoot him. But it's like, I don't know. Whenever I see people in like cars shooting a gun, like shooting a pistol, like that's like really fucking loud, isn't it? Wouldn't that like deafen you? Like, wouldn't that ruin your hearing?
I've shot
like
guns
months?
without ear protection.
Yeah.
And it's not fun. You can do it like twice. The first time you do it, you're like, that's extremely loud.
Right.
I should have. What the hell? Like, people are just doing this, and then you do it, and you're like, okay, I'm over it. I now know what to expect. And then next time, you're like, okay, that did damage. I can feel it in my ears. Yeah.
And De Niro is like popping off a 9mm. He like emptied like a whole mag while driving with one hand. No.
My dad has tinnitus from shooting guns.
Yeah, it's wear protection, folks. She's got a great tweet. Yeah.
What scenes did I avoid?
There's just a lot of scenes. Like, there's not a lot of plot in this. When Amber would walk by for this movie, because she didn't really see it, she just kind of walked by, and she would be like, "Oh, what's happening?" I could say in like one sentence what's happening. I'm like, "Oh, bank robber. That guy's the cop." And like that's it. Like it explains the whole movie. There's not like, oh, he has the infinity gem and like he's run and he got double crossed with blah blah. Like it's just
there's
like
there's no MacGuffin. There's no like item that has a mysterious history. Well, and like Al Pacino's character has like 4 or 5 different scenes where he goes into his house and something else is going on that has nothing to do with the movie, and they could have like excised it out, and the only thing they would have lost is like the backstory for Pacino's character and why is the way he is. And I really enjoyed that they left it in, because it felt like this movie kind of did feel like fleshed out characters. Like it felt like, you know, it's a mini series or like a season 1 of a TV show or something. We know everything about these characters. And at the end towards the end, when John Voight calls Robert De Niro in the car and says Wayne grows at the airport, then we know exactly what Robert De Niro's thinking.
Oh yeah.
We don't want him to do it, and he does it. And we're like, hell yeah, brother.
Well, it's like you see his face too.
It's
like
so interesting that they can do that without words. And we completely understand what's going on, even though it's the opposite of what we want.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like, because you just know he's going to fucking fuck it up. Because they're just like, you're good, Robert De Niro. You're going to get out. You made it. Yeah. There was just this one
thing. There's no reason
you don't care, right?
Narratively, for the movie, there's no reason for him to go back if it was going to work out.
Yeah.
Because we're at the workout ending. So when he veers the car, we're going into not workout territory.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of, okay, like we mentioned Al Pacino, dude, like I want to mention, because I mentioned it that episode when Jay said we were going to watch Heat. Like there's that meme where Al Pacino says because she's got a great ass, and like that face he makes and the delivery he does, it's like a reaction GIF, like that's on like a bunch of like, it's on Reddit and Tumblr and shit. You just see it in places. And like I wasn't sure if it was going to be in this movie, and then he does it. And it was just such a insane delivery. And like I saw the IMDb thing that it was like improvised. Like apparently Michael Mann made them like do like 100 takes of that scene because he's so particular. And Al Pacino was like, I'm gonna say this. He's like, I'm just gonna go crazy with this take, and it's the one that they used because he like vented his frustration. And apparently Hank Azaria's reaction to that was real. It was like unscripted, where he was just like, holy fuck. Like it was, yeah. And apparently Al Pacino's character was supposed to be a cocaine addict, according to the director. But they didn't put it in the movie.
I think it's better without it.
I think so too. But they wanted
to have a character who's
complex
like that. And who's like that without drugs. And then if you just add drugs in, that's the explanation for everything, rather than all these complex answers.
Well,
that's a good point, dude. Yeah.
Is that true? If Al Pacino was directed to act that way, then you're just not seeing it visually. But he acted in the way that his character was.
Yeah, right. But the character, as we are seeing it, has this. We prescribe this greater meaning to things, and we don't have like an easy out. Yeah, Pacino's fantastic in this movie.
He's a good actor. He should act for a living. He's pretty good. They meet in the coffee shop. It was cool. I feel like that's like such a cliche, right? Where it's like the cop and the robber, and they're like, "Hey, I just want to say respect. Yeah, but I won't fucking hesitate next time we meet." I feel like that's like such an action movie trope, but I think in this one it was like so good.
I think this might be like a Seinfeld effect thing where maybe people are kind of copying this. I think a lot of that for like the shootout. I saw a lot of the town in this. I made that joke to you guys in text, but the town was basically this movie beat for beat, but kind of like worse in every way.
It was like carrying the money while shooting back at the cops, right? That was like that. What's his name? That was Jeremy Renner, right? Where before he like takes the sip of the slushy, and it's that's where I was kind of getting. And like you kind of see it just all it's gonna go to shit, right? As soon as you see the bank job start to kind of unravel, where like Al Pacino shows up, that's where you're like, everyone's gonna die in this movie.
That was another thing that I needed to Google. Okay, so the bank heist goes off, and at the beginning of the bank heist, to kick it off, Danny Trejo's character calls Robert De Niro and he says, "I can't come. I've got police all over me." So Robert De Niro's like, "Great job. Thanks for calling me. Don't come. We got it. We'll kick it off." And then they're in the midst of the bank heist, and the police we see get a call. And you're like, what? They disabled all their things. They disabled the security, yada, yada. Off screen, we're shown later that Waingro was sent to get rid of Robert De Niro, found Danny Trejo's character, beat the shit out of him, and killed his wife, and then snitched that they were doing the bank job, which got Waingro protection from the police, even though he's murdered like a shit ton of people in the county. And quite frankly, Al Pacino should be wanting to go for him more than anybody.
They don't know that, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, Waingro is like the actual villain and like the actual like unforgivable person.
Thank you, Jace, for putting that together for me, because I didn't understand, because they were so mad. They're like, oh, who tipped us off? And I was like, nobody tipped them off. You robbed a fucking bank in daylight. But that makes so much more sense why the police weren't going after Waingro. I didn't put that together. I thought in my brain it was such a different convoluted answer, but that makes so much more sense.
Right, and they knew he was gonna go for him too.
Dude, that was actually a really good scene that I wanted to draw attention to. The fact that Al Pacino was reselling info about Waingro's whereabouts to the informants that the LAPD had in the city, so that the information would trickle down to Robert De Niro, and that he would go after Waingro. Like, that is genius.
Yeah, he was like, tell every like bail bonds dude, tell every fucking
jailhouse person. Snitch, like tell everybody that Waingro's at the airport and this on the 17th floor.
Yeah,
and I think that's something I don't know if I've ever seen before in a movie. And maybe because it's so clever that it's hard to work in. It's hard to have character motivations that are that deep where you can rely on a premise like that, because most movies don't get that far.
Yeah. Pacino is like, he's someone who is just so possessed that he will just do something unhinged like that, where it's just like, I'm going to like literally dangle this human life like bait and do all this fucked up shit, you know? And, you know, he is like shooting first and asking questions later with Robert De Niro's character too. Okay, like I do want to ask this, and maybe because you guys were looking stuff up and maybe you guys know better. Okay, so when Robert De Niro, he decides to go after Waingro, right? He's going into like the hotel room. He pulls the fire alarm, and the cops are like, oh, it's probably nothing. But like he puts like the trash can in the elevator doors, right? What was with the trash can?
To keep it there.
Yeah. To keep the elevator doors open?
The elevator won't move with the doors open. So when the fire department shows up, they can't call it to the first floor.
Oh, so he's like immobilizing the elevator.
I work on the 7th floor, so I take an elevator every day. And
you're like an elevator expert.
They usually yell at you. So this wouldn't really work, because somebody would be like, that fucking elevator's yelling. And it we'll send an alarm off if you prop the door open, because we do it all the time.
It's the 90s.
And so it keeps the elevator there so that nobody else can call it. And the reason that you're not supposed to take elevators during fires is so that the firemen can use it and that disabled people can use it.
Oh, I always thought because like the elevator could be on fire, which I think is stupider than probably than people need to use it. There's a showdown.
Oh yeah.
There's a showdown with the
airplanes. Airport showdown. Another Burbank airport showdown.
No, it's LAX, dog. This is LAX. I can
LAX?
fucking tell. Yep. And plus, they shout it out too. It's LAX as fuck, dude. It's the shittiest airport.
You know, I flew through LAX, and I didn't have a problem with it.
Well, that's good. Some of my worst airport waiting, being stuck experiences has been in LAX.
Yeah, actually, I just fucking lied to you. I just bold-faced lied to your face. Yeah. I heard that the Paris airport was terrible, and I went through the Paris airport, and the Paris airport was fine. I don't think I've flown through LAX ever. I take back what I just said.
It's also like, unlike SeaTac, because SeaTac, it's like...
You got him.
SeaTac is like open, you know, like when you get past the gate and it's like you can just kind of hang out everywhere. There's all sorts of shit to do. But LAX, they just like stick you in like a fucking corner. It's like you get through and there's nowhere else you can go. There's like one stupid Wolfgang Puck and then like one like stand where they sell like bags of beans and shit. And like that's it. Like there's nothing else besides that. And you're stuck in this like little hairpin shaped thing for like days or like hours. And the shit's always delayed and it sucks. And the bathroom's always broken. Fuck LAX. But anyways, they're like shooting. I mean, Robert, I don't know how they fucking find him, dude. Like Robert De Niro, like he got out of there, right? He like jumped over a fence.
Yeah,
and, like,
Al Pacino smells real good.
I think that's what it is.
It's like smell crime.
There's no way he'd find him, man.
It's like in that boatyard when they were like, which way were they looking? He was like, somebody just took a picture.
The film. I can smell the film.
They're looking at us.
That's the only explanation, dude, because he had a really good lead on him. And Al Pacino's like running through the airport with a shotgun. Like, he is like...
Yeah, okay, I understand. This is... he broke a line of sight so many times that Robert De Niro could have jumped on an airport, like, luggage cart, and then he could have been like... and then been on a luggage cart and disappeared. And Al Pacino would have just been running through, I don't know, that area, and then probably shot somebody else on accident who was like, I thought you were the guy I was chasing.
And then, you know, but it's like, yeah, he also passes like a bush, and I was like, you can just jump in the bush and literally just sleep there, and then a day will pass and you can just leave. Like, it's just, I mean, maybe
running around on the tarmac.
Yeah.
Julie was like, that's not allowed. I was like,
this was
they just murdered like 80 people.
Julie, this is pre 9/11. You could run around on a tarmac with a shotgun.
We were talking about pre 9/11 and just the
you could definitely do
general.
that back then. It's like, yeah, because I remember I noticed they didn't mention TSA, and I was like kind of looking for that, where they were like, yeah, it'll all be clear. You get on the plane, you'll be out of here. And I'm like, what about the guns and the money and all this shit? And it's just like, oh yeah, they won't even check
just
him.
Walk on like a damn plane.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I thought that is actually what we were gonna get, and I was a little misled. I thought he was
like TSA is going to stop him.
Yeah, I thought he was fleeing to the airport because he was going to have a jet waiting for him. I thought his final decision was to leave the woman, and that he was going to run through the airport and make a plane that he had like chartered. Not that he was going to die because his shadow exposed him.
Oh, betrayed by the shadow, man. Yeah. Fuck. Okay. I thought you meant like, Jace, I thought you meant like you thought it was intentional that he died. He was like, the jig is up. I'm going to go to the airport to die.
So, I thought
like a dog. I got to go to the airport.
Wasn't that like a Donnie Darko where they're like,
yeah,
you don't want
to go
creature,
into the porch.
It goes to the airport to die.
Thank you for getting my reference, because that's exactly what I was what I meant.
That reminds me of like that Bill Burr bit from like 10 years ago where he was like, whenever someone gets like a new super flu, they get an inclination to go to the airport as soon as possible. It's like the first thing they want to do really bad. Yeah. It's like a shootout, right? He gets cover. He's like in cover for like a long time. It was a little long.
Generic shootout. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked it though. Michael Mann movies pretty much always end with that
shootout,
like a shootout,
blood
public
packs.
Transportation, and a shootout.
And when he dies, dude, they hold hands out of respect. And like
same with Aragon and Boromir.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. When Amber Amber walked by during that scene where they're like holding hands and like the synths are swelling, right? And it's like they're holding the shot. Al Pacino doesn't say anything, and it's kind of like feeling dramatic. You're like, oh shit. And she's like, looked and she was like, why are they holding hands? and then the credits roll. I was like, and I thought that was like the funniest thing to for someone just like to walk in and
out of context.
She's like, what are they holding hands? Like, what are they?
Then the final emotional pull for the whole movie coming together, and this man versus man, the bounty and the hunter.
It definitely like yanked me. But I was like, yeah, they're holding hands because it's like respect, you know. It's like but like, are they friends? Like, no, I'm like, no, they shot each other.
He's dead.
He's dead now.
He said he wasn't going back. I don't.
Imagine if Pacino, like as soon as he died, Pacino was like, oh, gross. He's like, he starts holding his hand up like this, like, oh, gets out a little hand sanitizer.
What if Robert De Niro offered it? Like, because Robert De Niro offers his hand first, and what if Al Pacino's like, ew, no.
Fuck you.
No way.
Gross.
Yeah. I shot you.
Grabs his hand. He's like, kind of weird that I grabbed that.
Clammy.
Kind of weird that I held his hand. Why did I do that?
Or just like goes up to his mouth and like moves his jaw. It's like, ha, you lost. It's so disrespectful, and then just cuts to black. Directed by Michael Mann.
That would be the incredible character study, where he's like, "Yeah, fuck you. I'm a stupid Robert."
They would have had to show the cocaine.
I think that's the cocaine cut. Yeah, it ends, dude. Mutual respect.
That's a fucking movie.
Okay, let's do this thing. Let's wrap this shit up.
Heist meter? I don't know. Movie meter. Let's just do the movie meter.
Yeah.
No need to
I'd give it like
do a theme.
9 guns out of 10.
Shit, that's a lot of guns.
Yeah, it wasn't what I expected. Surely I did not realize I was signing up for a 2-hour and 50-minute movie. I saw Heat on the list, and I said it, and that was it. And then I didn't know when I was going to watch it. I didn't know what it was about. I was very surprised by the cast. It was really fun to see like a younger Robert De Niro, because I think like the first time I saw him was like Meet the Fockers, probably. Right?
That's pretty funny. Yeah, wow,
same.
you're probably right. For me too.
Same. And it was Meet the Fockers. It wasn't Meet the Parents.
Oh, okay. I saw Meet the Parents.
Oh, wait. Yeah, shit.
I saw Meet the Fockers first.
Meet the Fockers is not the first one.
It's the second one.
It's the second one. Shit. I saw Meet the Parents first. I'm just a movie idiot.
Well, for all you Fockers heads,
I think it was tight when it needed to be tight, but there was some like kind of exposition that I think we've all kind of agreed was a little weird, like the romantic relationship. I didn't really think about this like tagline that like the movie was about actions and consequences until Natalie Portman's character was like found in that bathtub. And then like maybe Michael Mann felt the need to show what her mother had done and how Al Pacino was and how Natalie Portman's never shown father was in the whole movie. And that like each of these characters are so driven and they make these decisions and they always end up being bad for them. And that's just kind of how life can be. Like you make a decision, it doesn't work out or it ends up being really bad. Or you can make really destructive decisions like this group of bad people is doing, and it can also be way, way worse. Framed in a really interesting way. A lot of funny and yet cool action. And I think it's like an 8 or a 9. I didn't think about a score until just now. Good movie, probably not watching it again, but like very recommendable to people. It definitely, I think, elicited effectively the emotions that maybe they wanted me to feel. So like, I'm gonna go with 8. A little too long.
That's the highest rated 3-hour movie I think we've done.
I'm gonna give it a 9. I agree. It's very, very close to a 10. I think it'd be totally fine if the majority of people who watched this gave it a 10. It was a hard watch, I think, and a couple parts in the beginning kind of took me out of the action. There's a couple parts that weren't edited very well. In particular, that green screen scene, but like that's so minor. Some of the things that were done in this movie that were done well, I thought I had never seen before. The focus puller in this movie was amazing. Shout out to whoever pulled the focus in this movie. Good job. Michael Mann can really do like a getting out of town scene. And I thought Miami Vice, them going to Havana in the speedboat while Moby plays in the background, was like my favorite getting out of town Michael Mann scene. But this, when Robert De Niro and his girlfriend are in the car and they go into this tunnel. John Voight calls them on the phone and everything, and they go into this tunnel and they're in a black car and it's at night. And for some reason, everything turns like white. It turns like overexposed and everything. And like, I was like, oh wow, they like made it. They're like, it's the symbolism for like heaven and everything. They like made it. And then he turns his ass around and drives to the airport and kills Wayne Girl. I was like,
Psych.
Oh damn. Yeah. So I don't know. This movie, at some parts, I was super hyped. And about 2/3 or maybe 3/4 of the way through it, I was like, this is one of the best movies I've ever seen. But then it's hard to get over the things I didn't like about the first part. I thought every character was extremely well developed and was extremely complex and reacted to things in a way that movie characters normally don't. Normally, when you have a movie character who's like, his wife is cheating on him and he finds out, his reaction is like, oh, this is crazy. I'm going to go leave and go sleep over here. And this fucking sucks because I'm working all the time. I'm keeping the city safe. And Al Pacino's like, you can fuck my wife, but you can't watch my TV. And he takes his tiny little like 10-inch TV and puts it in his car and drives it around for like 5 minutes. And he's like, this is ridiculous. Opens the door and kicks it into the street. Like, what? But at the same time, that completely made sense.
Yeah.
And just little things like that, I really enjoyed. So a 9 in the future. Next time, it might be a 10.
I agree with the character choices in this. I mean, it's a rich movie, dude. Like, Michael Mann sometimes gets panned for this, too, where it's like he adds too much to his movies, where you're just like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you don't need to add all this shit. And I think this was running the line for me sometimes. I think it affected the pacing, like, a little bit, which is why I'm going to give it an 8. I think it's a pretty like tight movie overall, but there's like in the third act especially, there's some dragon scenes. It's dragging. There's no dragons, and I think that would have enhanced the movie. And I do like a tightly wound heist movie. I like it when it feels like it makes sense, like when it feels like every decision is really well thought out, and it comes out in the movie. The dialogue's fucking cool. You got like probably one of the best casts I've ever seen. It's incredible. The only thing I think that could make it better is maybe just like have like another act where it's like 20 years later and it's like the kids growing up, like the child of Al Pacino and like the child of Robert De Niro, and they're like
a second 3-hour act.
Yeah, and then they become friends, but then they're like, wait, did you shoot my dad? And then it's like a whole thing that comes afterwards, and I think that would make the movie better. But other than that, an 8. I mean, this was a hit, dude. But I'm surprised that a movie called Heat is like not faster. Like it's like a 3-hour epic. Like, don't call it Heat.
That movie be called the Place Beyond the Signs. It's a Hollywood sign.
Nice. That's pretty good.
Okay. Place Beyond the, and also LA has a lot of signs.
Yeah.
So that's Heat, folks.
They could remake this with Ryan Reynolds, and then he'd get a point because it's in LA.
Yeah, it's being remade, isn't it?
It better not be.
What isn't?
Heat is gonna be. Yeah, Heat 2 is gonna come out. Apparently, Jeremy Allen White's in talks. There's gonna be Heat 2.
Is it Heat 2 or is it a remake?
It says it's Heat 2. It's Michael Mann said it's a prequel and a sequel.
Fuck me. If they're doing A Place Behind the Pines, that's exactly what they're doing.
I think it is. I think if Jeremy Allen White's like Robert De Niro's son, I'm gonna see this. I'm gonna see this fucking movie. And then Adam Driver apparently Adam Driver might be Robert De Niro's dude in this movie. Anyways, yeah, look it up, folks. You ever seen Heat? Talk to us about Heat. All right, maybe hit
you
us
ever
up.
been to
Maybe
Phoenix?
Phoenix,
It's okay.
Arizona.
Talk to us about Heat.
Phoenix is okay. Yeah, have your dads talk to us about Heat. They ever seen this movie? They probably have. Made a lot of money in the box office. Ryan, it's your pick next week. So, I mean, do you want to wait to reveal? Do you want to reveal now? Like,
I might wait to reveal because I'm still choosing. So I'm going to choose later.
Okay, folks, next week we're going to watch another movie, and it's going to be Ryan's pick.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, folks, thanks so much for joining us for this mystery season. Can you guess what the flavor is for this season? We will tell you at the end.
It's the leftovers from the other flavors.
Yeah, it is. Isn't that what Airheads left? That is what it is, isn't it? That's why they taste different every time. Do you guys want to leave with a Al Pacino quote?
Frogs.
Did you say frogs?
Yeah.
Frogs.
Never
Shake
that hard
toned
ass.
I tried to find my way around, and you found it. You found it to get right back around to ass.